Santa. Tell us a story. Yes, please tell us a story, Santa.
It was all very sad. And to think it happened just a few days before Christmas.
What happened?
No one should be unhappy at Christmas time.
No.
Especially not a puppy with long shaggy hair, long floppy ears, and a long silky tail.
A silky tail.
Especially not a puppy who had been born in a snug, warm box in the cellar of a snug, warm, rambling old home.
I'd like it.
A puppy who had a kind mother who looked just like him, and 2 brothers and a sister who looked just like him, too.
They had floppy ears.
What a happy family they all were in the beginning. Their master was kind, their mistress was kind, and they had the very best of food to eat. There was a big backyard to play in, with stray cats to chase, and squirrels to chatter and scold, and birds to sing, and bones to bury, and puppy games to play. But that was before the house caught fire. Somebody said it was a short circuit in the wiring that started the fire. Somebody said it was smoking in bed. Nobody really knew for certain. Everyone had to run for their lives. The puppy's mistress in her housecoat, the puppy's master in his pajamas. The puppy's mother, who knew a way past the flames, led his brothers and sister and himself to safety.
Yay!
They all got out just in the nick of time. But they couldn't live together anymore. Their master and mistress moved to an apartment in town. The sign read, "No dogs allowed."
Oh, my.
The puppy's master and mistress were very sad. They had to give away all their dogs, one by one. But not this puppy.
No, sir.
Not this puppy with the long shaggy hair, long floppy ears, and the long silky tail. He ran away, fast.
Tell us more, Santa.
It was Christmas Eve. What a wonderful Christmassy night it was. Christmas lights shone in every window. Every shrub and tree twinkled. Last-minute shoppers hurried up and down the busy streets. Horns honked, bells jingled, carolers sang. Oh, the wonder of it all. Oh, the beauty of it all. Oh, the magic of it all. Christmas Eve.
I love Christmas.
But the puppy with the long shaggy hair, the long floppy ears, and the long silky tail didn't feel the least bit Christmassy. He was curled up inside an overturned garbage pail in an alleyway.
It's cold in here. I sure wish I had something to eat or somebody to talk to. Oh, right now I'm so hungry I could eat a banana. That sort of reminds me of that string of sausage lying on the butcher's counter that day. I was so hungry I just couldn't resist. All I wanted was a little nibble. Boy, I'll never forget that butcher's angry voice as he chased me out of the shop.
Mamma mia, if I get my hands on you, dog, I finish you off quick.
You shouldn't have been so upset with me. Someday I might be a big star like Lassie, or Rin Tin Tin, or maybe even Tramp. Oh, what's the use of dreaming? The one thing I miss most is my home, my mother, my brothers and sister. I'd give anything just to be back in my snug, warm bed. I wonder where they all are. Maybe if I hadn't run away, I'd have a home of my own by now. I might even own a boy, like the other dogs I've seen around town. Say, maybe that's it.
The puppy sat up. He started to think. He had an idea.
Attaboy, puppy.
A very, very good idea.
If I remember right, and knowing that my mother was very wise, it seems to me that she used to say, If I ever found myself in some sort of trouble and didn't know what to do, then I should ask someone for advice. Now let me see. Who can I ask for advice? Why, the dogs who own boys! Of course. Now why didn't I think of that before?
That puppy was on his feet in a flash.
Wow.
He knew just where to look. Out on the main street, where the people were, where the children were, and even where the dogs were.
Yeah.
Down the icy alleyway he darted, skittering as he turned the corner. There, in front of the toy shop window, was a Scotch terrier with a boy on a leash.
Now, Santa.
The boy was looking at the toys in the window. The dog was just standing there looking around. This was his chance. The little puppy with the long shaggy hair, the long floppy ears, and the long silky tails said,
Hello, sir. I need some advice.
A puppy such as yourself should be home on a night such as this, instead of traipsing the streets looking for advice.
So the puppy explained his problem.
Well, no, that's another matter. What is it exactly you want to know?
I want to find my own boy.
Well, you left it a little late, didn't you?
You could say that, I guess.
All I can tell you, son,
The Scotty tugged hard on the leash, yanking the boy away from the window.
is that you'll know your boy the minute you set eyes on him. Merry Christmas to you.
And with that, off he went down the snowy street, dragging his little boy along with him.
And then what happened, Santa?
The puppy was puzzled. What did the Scotty mean? Just then he happened to see a police dog leading a man. The man had a white cane. The two were waiting for the traffic light to change.
Police dogs know everything.
So the puppy ran up to him.
Excuse me, officer. But, well, you see, I need some advice.
Don't try to cross against the light.
That's not what I mean.
So the puppy had to explain everything all over again.
I'm sure, officer, now that you understand my problem, you can help me. I want to find my own boy.
If you keep running around these streets without any collar or tag, it'll be the dog catcher you'll find for yourself. But I can see your point. I understand what you're trying to do. Good luck and a Merry Christmas. Besides, you'll know your boy the minute you find him.
Just then the light changed, and the police dog, gently leading the man, crossed the street and disappeared into the crowds of Christmas shoppers. The same advice all over again. What did it mean? The puppy was so lost in thought that he bumped into a French poodle wearing a red ribbon around her neck, who was prancing down the street. The poodle was very annoyed, to say the least.
Why don't you watch where you are going?
Excuse me, miss. I wasn't paying attention. Say, do you by any chance own a boy?
A garçon? A boy? Me? Own a boy? Don't be silly. I own a lady.
Oh, I never thought of that.
By the way, whom do you own?
Nobody yet, but
Little wonder. Just look at you. Why, you can tell that you have no pedigree, no breeding. As for myself, I can trace my ancestors back to...
But she didn't finish. Just then a big black limousine pulled up to the curb. A lady in a fur coat jumped out. She grabbed the poodle up in her arms and hugged her.
Oh, my poor baby! I thought you had lost me. I must take you home out of this cold before you catch a nasty chill.
Then they both got into the car and it sped away. The poor little puppy with the long shaggy hair, the long floppy ears, and the long silky tail had never, ever felt more alone.
You ain't gonna let that silly poodle spoil your Christmas, are you, son?
The puppy jumped. There, sitting on the curb, was the saddest-looking hound dog anybody had ever seen. Everything about him drooped. His eyes, his ears, and his tail.
all I wanted was to find my own boy.
And you will, son. You will. Believe me, I knows. For every single dog that's born, there's a boy somewheres. Now, back home in Kentucky, I had my own boy. Taught him a lot, I did, about the woods and hunting. Smart a boy as any dog could have. Oh, but he went off to war. And when he didn't come back, I just run away. Been sort of a tramp ever since.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's life, son. You gotta make the most of what you got. But right now, we both of us got a problem. See that truck coming down the street? That there is the dog catcher. If you want to find yourself a boy, you better make a run for it, son. You'll know your boy when you see him. Merry Christmas!
So the hound dog ran one way, and the puppy ran the other. The dog catcher didn't know which one to chase, giving the puppy enough time to scoot around the corner.
And then what happened, Santa?
Down at Rooney's pet shop it was closing time, and Mr. Rooney had a problem. There wasn't a single dog left in the window, or for that matter, anywhere else in the shop. Mr. Rooney had customers. One was a tall, thin man with curly gray hair named Mr. Dean. His son Jimmy was there in his wheelchair. He had been hurt in an accident, and it would be a long time before the boy could walk again.
I'm sorry.
The two men were talking.
You mean to tell me, Mr. Rooney, that you're sold out of dogs? My Jimmy wanted a puppy for Christmas.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dean, but if you'd just let me know in advance, I might have been able to save one for you.
Well, I guess it's my own fault. Pressure's a business, you know. I should have taken time.
Come on, Dad. It's okay. Let's go home. Maybe you can buy me a puppy some other time.
Just then a burst of wind blew the shop door open. A cloud of snowflakes blew in, and with them a frightened little puppy with long, shaggy hair, long, floppy ears, and a long, silky tail. The puppy jumped right up into Jimmy's lap, and before anybody could say or do anything, there in the doorway appeared the dog catcher.
Seen any stray dogs around here?
Mr. Rooney looked at Mr. Dean, and Mr. Dean looked at Jimmy, and Jimmy looked at the puppy, and the puppy hid his head under the boy's coat. Nobody said a word. The dog catcher was the first to speak.
Well, I must have been mistaken. That puppy couldn't have come in here. Sorry I bothered you.
The door banged shut behind him. Mr. Rooney hurried over and patted the puppy.
No collar. No tag of any sort. This puppy is a stray like as not.
Jimmy held the puppy close to stop his shivering.
Ah, no matter. It looks as though Jimmy has found his Christmas puppy after all.
But as the puppy snuggled down in Jimmy's lap, that puppy with the long shaggy hair, the long floppy ears, and the long silky tail knew differently. He had found his boy,
Yay.
the boy he wanted for Christmas. And if you could have asked him how he felt, he would have told you this. When you share happiness and care, then any day can be like Christmas.
Even for puppies.
I want a puppy too, Santa.